You finally decided to buy your dream house on Cape Cod, and now you want to know what you should be looking for that's a little bit different about the Cape than maybe other areas in Massachusetts or other parts of the country. My name's Tiffany Callahan. I've been living on the Cape for about 8 years now, and here are things that I needed to know buying a house here on the Cape. So the first one is location. Every town has a different feel, and even within each town, there are different villages and pockets and areas that have different feels to them. You really need to drive around or stay in different places to find out what's the right fit for you. For example, Yarmouth Port, north of 6A, is close to Gray's Beach, a bayside beach. Has more of a residential feel than maybe going down South Sea Ave in West Yarmouth, where you have more of a vacation vibe and the Southside beaches. It's not that one place is better than the other, but you need to know what's the right fit for you based on your home buying goals, what you're using the house for, and what feels like home to you. You also want to know about the septic and sewer work that's happening. This is a major infrastructure change that's happening here on Cape Cod. So if you aren't ready for this, you probably be pretty surprised as you're home searching or looking around. Roads are torn up. The construction's going to take decades to really work through. And so you want to know, are you in an area that's going to stay on septic for a long time? Should you be planning ahead for septic maintenance? Or are you in an area that's going to have construction happening, or maybe already has happened, to change over to town sewer? And what will the hookup cost, and what will that look like for your life? So you really want to dig in and find out more about specific areas in your town to see how that will affect your home buying search and the process of what it's like when you live here. You'll also want to know about flood zones. What may surprise some people is there are homes right on the ocean that don't need flood insurance. And then there are some a mile or two inland that have high groundwater levels or are in a high water table that do have flood insurance. And that impacts the price you're paying for your house. It impacts potential maintenance or risk of owning that home in a flood zone. So you want to learn more about flood zones and try to get some more information about how that will impact your life. You also want to know the main routes to get around. Route 6, 6A, and Route 28 are the three major roadways on Cape Cod. Which one do you like being nearby? Are there things you need to commute to? So you really want to check out what that looks like as you're home buying and as you're driving around. I myself am partial to 6A. I just think it's beautiful and historic, but I also feel like I can get around and beat some of the summer traffic, not all of it. And so see what those areas look like and if there's one that kind of pulls you in and one that you'd like to live nearby. Do you like the Bayside or the South Side? Usually people have a strong preference for one over the other. I didn't know anything about this. When I was growing up here, coming on vacation 1 week a year, I didn't even know about the tides. I just thought that sometimes the water was high when you go to the beach, sometimes it was lower. I didn't know anything about really how the tides worked because I didn't live here year round. It didn't matter to me as much. And as a kid, it wasn't something I really thought about. But now I know a lot about that. And so there are days when I really want to be near like more of the salt smelling air and be near the waves and just a different kind of beach. And so we'll go over to the south side beaches to take a look at those. And then there are other days where we'd love to walk out at low tide on the bayside beaches, have a nice walk, maybe be able to set up for hours, look for seashells, different things. And so those two beaches offer a very different feel. Do you have one that you like more than the other? That will impact your home search if you're looking for a home around here. The Cape also has school choice. So while many times off Cape, people are looking for a specific town or neighborhood to be in because of the schools they want to go to, Cape Cod has the luxury of school choice. So you may pick your house based on which school you want to go to if you want to put your kids on the bus or you're considering certain activities or where you live, but you also have school choice here. And so you have a lot more options that open you up more than what other towns do. I think walkability sometimes is important for people. And so if you want an area that's walkable, the Cape's a lot trickier about that. And there's not as much public transportation available as if you were living in the city or even other towns that I've vacationed at or been to. And so you really want to think about, do you need to be somewhere close to like a cute little Main Street downtown area? Or do you want more of a peaceful residential neighborhood? Do you not care if you're on a main road, but not walkable? All of those things will really impact your search and what you're paying for a house. So the last thing you really want to think about is there an HOA? I know in many parts of the country, homeowners associations are very strong. And here on the Cape, we mostly see them with condos. And so when you're looking at condos, if that's what you want to buy, you have to look and really consider what are the condo fees? Have they gone up recently? Do they have plans to go up again? There are some condos on the Cape with condo fees in excess of $700 or $800 per month. And so that's a huge expense. If you think maybe condo living is right for you, but not at that price, you really need to consider what those condo fees are before you get out there searching and really picking a condo complex that works for you. We do have some neighborhoods that have HOAs as well, and it's less heavy on the fees and more on, say, restrictions to keep a neighborhood in a certain kind of condition. So there's one I sold this year that had restrictions where you couldn't be parking commercial vehicles, or you had to ask for permission for certain types of plantings or siding. You also come across that here on the Cape when you're in the historic district. So we see this in certain parts of, say, South Dennis or north of 6A, so north of Old Kings Highway, where you have to get permission to use certain types of siding, roofs, windows can be a big thing to stay consistent and stay historic. So that really does impact if you wanted to put up certain privacy fencing or do an addition on your home. That's another level of barriers that you have to get through to make sure that you're conforming with historic districts. So HOAs, historic district, and town requirements really vary town to town. And so it's just something else to consider. So if you're looking to buy on the Cape, there is so much that's special about this area and that I love, and many people love being here, but you really do need to consider those things when house searching because it will impact your quality of life while you're here. What else do you think I missed? What should I include when talking to home buyers and home sellers about special things here on Cape Cod that are different than other areas?